How has that the transition been? We obviously saw you finish this past season on such a high note. So yeah, has it been a case of sort of taking some time to settle in, or did you find comfort pretty soon, and the whole experience as well as the bike?
To be honest, it went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to. I mean, I was a little intimidated, like, at first coming to like such a successful team, but ending the season on such a high note, I got like a lot of respect from everybody on the team as soon as I showed up day one. So that's been good, obviously. But no, I mean, it took maybe 2 weeks to get used to the bike and the new frame, maybe if that, and ever since then it's been really nice being able just to do my laps and like work on myself, you know, more so instead of the bike. I feel like that's kind of where I lost a lot of time last year. I was really chasing a bike that I couldn't figure out. So, but no, this bike's proven and it's been good so far. So I'm excited to go racing.
Do you think that to have that momentum, to have that result, like you said, it almost helped with the team and everybody around give you that respect on arrival? So was that timing, although you probably didn't realize it at the time, it was a good thing, pretty important?
Yeah, no, the timing was perfect. I think more so than getting the respect, everybody just expects it now, you know? I mean, I get a call from Bobby about once a week asking me how I'm doing, telling me, he was like, yeah, like we're gonna win together, like you better be ready by A1 or whenever I go racing, because like we're gonna win. I'm like, okay, like that's the expectation and that's the bar, and it's something new for me, because obviously like show up to the gate and I want to win, but there's weekends that I don't know if it's possible, you know. So having done it before, it's been a good transition, and spending like these last months on just sitting on that win, it's been good. So yeah, hopefully that high doesn't die before I go racing.
Hey Pierce, you know, you've obviously been racing against the Yamahas forever.
Yeah.
You know, everyone regards them as the horsepower kings.
Yeah.
What was it like getting on the bike for the first time? Was it everything that you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, no, I was so excited to ride it, dude. Like I wanted to ride this thing forever. I mean, obviously, I think in the last 10 years at least, it's been the best 250. PC's been really good lately, but Stars, they have something figured out. I don't know what it is, but it's something. And yeah, I hopped on this bike and I'm like, damn, like this is what I've been missing, you know? Like it's just as fast as you would imagine it being, and handles great too.
What kind of mental shift is there from being maybe a little bit more of an underdog to now being with the team that you're with?
I don't think it's as much of a mental switch. Like I still feel like I'm an underdog. There's guys I'm going against that are really expected to win, you know? So if I beat them, it's bet on their part. I think I've always kind of like carried that weight on my shoulder, not the weight on my shoulders, but I've like carried that like mindset of being the underdog and wanting to, like, I don't know, take these people's money, you know? That's my main goal. So, but now it's different because I've done it before, so I could expect it of myself. I mean, you could tell yourself and go to bed saying like I'm gonna be a winner, I'm gonna be a champion, but it's really just, you don't know how true it is until it actually happens. So yeah, being able to like believe it now, that's been the biggest mental switch.
You weren't living in Florida before, were you?
No.
How has that been?
It's
a pretty big deal.
That's been probably the biggest change for sure. I mean, for the better though, because I was so over California with the traffic, and the tracks this time of year, they're good. I like the test tracks out here. Like Supercross is fun, but once you switch into outdoors, you have 3 decent tracks, and like you're losing, I just feel like a track every year, you know? Like there's not much for outdoor prep, or I mean during the season, like when you're struggling with the bike, you can't really figure it out at Glen Helen at 3:30, you know, and then you show up at Southwick and it's completely different. So being in Florida, just the dirt, it's just fun to ride, you know, like I'm enjoying riding my dirt bike again, which is new, you know, I've been having fun.
Until that humidity hits here.
Yeah, I know, right?
So then on that note, you know, we know all the stories of like, yeah, you got to ride Glen Helen 5:30 after everybody's already left and it's hammered, and you're going to go try to make that work on an East Coast track. How much now that you're out of this scene have you figured out like, oh shit, I've never thought about that before. I can think about that now because it's not the same 3 tracks I've ridden.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. We have 3 tracks at the farm, and all of them get so chewed up because we have so many guys, dude. There's like 4 amateur kids, I think, and then I don't know how many is on the 250 side, 8 maybe, and then we got 450 guys too. So by the end of the day, the tracks are hammered. It's like a race day. So I mean, throughout the day, you kind of figure out like what you can and can't get away with the bike because it's so realistic, and you show up the next day and the track's fresh again. So you get to ride it on like a fresh track and then like a pretty beat up track. Where here, unless you leave the track without a prep for say a week or 2, you don't really get that, you know, like it's hard to get that like traction out of the dirt here without just like sitting on the sprinkler 24/7, you know.
You talked about riding the new bike. What's the biggest difference that you noticed like right off the bat?
I think the power has been the biggest difference for sure. I'm still trying to get used to the chassis. Like it's been different for sure. Like there's things that this bike does a lot better than my old bike, but my old bike did a couple things that I still can't get out of this thing yet. Like I'm just trying to learn the bike, and I'm letting the suspension guys like guide me in the direction that they would normally go with like all other guys in the past, because I mean I don't know if I'm setting the bike up for how a Yamaha should be set up, you know. So that's been the only thing that I've really had to get used to, but the power has been unreal, dude. Like it's a good bike.
You said you didn't or you don't feel pressure and still feel like an underdog heading into next year. Why do you think that is? Because you're now a winner, you're now on V team. I would think that you would feel more pressure than ever before. So do you understand why you maybe feel calm and relaxed?
I mean, I think, I don't know why that is. I just don't feel that pressure. Like I've felt that pressure in past years, but now, I mean, I'm going against, I don't know who I would be racing against, but I think Hayden, Levi, RJ, and even Tom, like they have like all the weight on their shoulders. So like for someone like me to go and beat them, I think it would hurt their confidence more than vice versa, you know.
Do you think that you felt pressure in the past because you put weight on yourself as like the TLD team leader?
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
felt like
exactly.
you needed to do it for the team?
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, you might be right there too. I didn't really think of that, but now it's been different because, I mean, the team has so many guys. Not that they play favorites, but it's hard to give 8 guys 100% your like attention every single day. So there's days I'm just kind of not doing my own thing, but like I can get away with whatever. Like I'll just have an off day and nobody will be on my ass about it. Whereas last year, like if I have an off day, it's like you gotta get your shit together, you know. So that part of it's been cool. Like I'll be able to go at it at my own pace, and I think that's kind of what's like ease the pressure off me. Like no matter what I do on practice day, it doesn't matter until I show up on race day. So like as long as I'm ready on race day, it's fine, you know.
I'm guessing that's a surprise, because I would presume that heading into Star, everyone told you and you expected it to be the most pressure-filled, insane environment ever, where everyone's got eyes on you 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely a surprise. Like I was mentally preparing myself all year last year, and having Frankie as our team manager last year, like he was definitely hard on me and Ryder both. But every time like I would be struggling, he would just remind me, he's like, dude, you're gonna go to the hardest team, like, or like hardest minded staff where you can't get away with what you're doing right now. Like you have to be solid. Like you can't lose your cool, have a meltdown, this and that. Like you have to be like composed 24/7, and you have to show up and actually like do your job. So being so prepared for like that, and ending up, or like the team not being as like not that they aren't gnarly, they're pretty gnarly, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So like that's kind of been easier on me.
Was it tough for you? I mean, to get used to that big team. I mean, Natalie and personally, was it tough to get used to it?
I'm still kind of trying to get used to it. Like I'm feeling it like everybody out on the team. Like I've been saying, I haven't like let my guard down with these guys yet. Like it's not like TLD was last year where, I mean, I could go have dinner with Will and then the next day he's on my ass about something, this and that. But like we'll always have that respect for each other at the end of the day. Like I just haven't had the time with these guys yet to build those relationships. But not that I'm not going to. It's just been different because there's so many guys, like even riders too. Like I know Nate well just from living with him at MTF, and then like we were teammates briefly at KTM, and then he went to Star. But besides that, like all the teammates that I have now, I don't know very well. So it's kind of weird, like at the track, like not knowing anybody, you know.
When you were an amateur, like you've always had a stylish riding style. You've always looked cool on the bike. I've been asking the guys, like, what's your favorite technique drill or something that you like to focus on? Maybe now, even as you switch from a steel frame on the gas to aluminum frame on the Yamaha, like how has it been easy to transition your style? And then I guess what are something you're working on to improve as you adapt to that bike? Something like technical, like what are you thinking about when you're on the track?
I haven't been able to really work on like technique stuff like that until getting onto this team, really, because at the end of the day, normally I'm still chasing the bike, but here, like I'll get done with my motos, then we'll do an hour of sections and I'll just be able to like nitpick corners that I'm struggling with, or like a rhythm that I need to hit, or this and that, and just like spending more time on the bike and like getting those reps in. You become one with the bike, so you can kind of put it wherever you want to when you feel that comfort. And that's the biggest thing for me, is just like seat time and like getting used to it, because I mean it's obvious with some guys to watch them and know they're not comfortable on the bike, but when they are comfortable, like watch out. Like I think Justin Barsha is one of those guys, like when he's not comfortable, like he looks off, you know, but when he is, he looks like the like fastest guy on the planet, you know, just throwing the bike around like that type of stuff, you know.
And it makes sense now that you have a facility where everything's in one place. You can stay later, stay longer, and get those extra time in where you don't have to drive, work in California traffic. So
yeah,
that makes
exactly.
more sense to be able to stay later and work on those little things.
Yeah, that makes it easy for sure.
Do you do any fun riding by chance, or like is it just moto and you're done, or do you ever like, I'm gonna do wheelies or not tricks, but do you ever like enjoy riding, I guess, or?
No, not as much as I should probably. I mean, we hit the hills like a couple of times last year and the year before, but obviously we don't have hills in Florida. Like it's pretty, like the schedules are pretty strict there, I would say. So I mean, as long as I'm at the farm, I probably can't get away with like throwing knack-knacks or like wheelies or anything like that, like after riding. But I don't know how lenient they are on me going somewhere else and just like riding the bike for a weekend, you know.
Well, Max was saying he was doing some stuff with Hayden, so we
yeah,
like,
I know. I didn't get the invite that day. I was pissed. They went to, because Hayden has a track at STF down the road, and yeah, it was just him and Max that went there, and everybody else was at the farm that day just grinding, and I'm seeing them throwing like whips on ramps and stuff. I'm like, dude, come on.
I feel like I'll figure style.
Yeah, I know. I like that stuff a lot.
Hey, you had your single biggest payday when you won Vegas.
Yeah.
You're in your 20s. Did you buy anything great?
I bought a truck and I bought a house. Yeah.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah. That's about it. Yeah.
I've always heard that you are one of the best guys to practice with, just because of your speed at a test track. First of all, do you agree with that? And secondly, if it is true, why do you think that hasn't translated to the races consistently?
Who said that?
Well, there's one guy on your team.
Yeah.
Who would have told me that. But
I could agree with that. I just struggle getting off the gate, dude. Like whenever I do, I feel like I have a decent ride, but I don't know. It just, definitely been a mental thing the last 4 or so years that I've been pro. Like I figured something out at Vegas this past year, and yeah, I think it'll be good for this next season. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, this sport's so mental. Like, you can't show up at the gate like not in the moment, you know. And yeah, I think it's hard showing up and like being the fastest guy at the test track like every single day, and then like showing up and getting like consistent fifths, like 4th on a good day, then like 5th, and I'm like, dude, like I could be winning. Like I'm faster than Tom at the test track, but he's got the red plate, you know. Like that's kind of maddening sometimes. But it's just, I mean, it's not so much speed on race day. I mean, it is to some extent, but you have to be in like the right position at the right time. Like, you have to get the start first and then sprint for the first 5, and once you get that gap, like, you manage the race. But it's just managing, I think, is the biggest thing, especially for our class right now. Like 450 is a different, like, that's a different story, but our class, like, if you could get a solid start and sprint the first 10 and get a decent gap, like, you're set. Like, there's not, I won't say anybody, maybe Hayden, but like, there's not many people that are like super fit, I would say. Like a Baggett, like in 2012, or like Tomac, you know. Like, everybody's fit. So I don't know, it's an even playing field.
You said you figured something out in Vegas. Was that to do with the starts, or was that bigger picture?
I would say both. Yeah, just starts. Like,
bike or technique, or
yeah, bike technique. It's more so just like the whole 9 and repeating it, and like knowing how to repeat it. I think it's been hard for me to like repeat it on race day. Like, I'll be fun on practice day, like you've been saying, and then on race day it's not there. So like, translating that has been tough.
I feel like you've been really underrated throughout your career so far, and even this year, like, some of your rides through the pack I feel like were underrated. Like, if it was a Texas SMX round, you like charged to like really high up, and I feel like even with your win, do you feel like you'd rather be that underrated guy heading into this year when you could really shock people and really catch people off, like catch them off guard, I guess?
Yeah, I know. I think I would rather be that guy. Yeah, it's kind of how I've been my whole life. I don't know why that is, because I don't think I'm too flashy, like, and I haven't had that many great rides for people to really like be a fan, you know, yet at least. But now being on this bike and this team, I think it could be a really good year. So I'm hoping this is the year that I could like show my potential and like, yeah, have a breakout year.
Were you looking back on last year? On one hand, we speak about, you know, the speed that you showed during the week, but last season you were one of the most consistent riders in the sport. So did that consistency surprise you at all over the course of the season?
No. I did a lot of work outside of like the track. Like, I really changed pretty much my whole lifestyle. Like, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, like, something's not working. I need to really put everything into my career, or it's not gonna work out. I need to figure something else out. So that was kind of like my last, not my last like try or chance or whatever, but I put everything I had into my racing last year, and seeing that translate into like consistency was cool. But it wasn't like, I mean, I was getting consistently 4th, consistently 5th when my goal was to win and be on the podium. So that was frustrating. But having that like base, I would say, of a season under my belt, I think it will help me next year a lot.